What's going on, guys and gals? It's 8-Bit Ray from the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and you are listening to the Geek World All-Star Podcast Network.
Broadcasting very fast and very dangerous from the planet Malastare. You are listening to So Wizard.
You're thinking people gonna die?
The only podcast to make the Kessel Run in under 12 parsecs.
There'll be no one to stop us this time.
What's going on, everybody? It is time for episode number 283 of the So Wizard podcast. I'm your host, Joey DiCarlo. My co-hosts are the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield.
Fuck.
And the expert, Mr. Marquis Marcellus Reagan.
Damn, you took my line.
You are listening to So Wizard Podcast. Three friends discuss the world of nerd, podcasting weekly on the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. This week, we've got a little bit of news, including a trailer for New Mutants after almost a year. And then we're going to talk all about The Witcher on Netflix and see what we thought about the new series with Henry Cavill. But before we get into all that, how is everyone doing this week? Mark Ellis, what's going on?
Hey man, another week, another screening of Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. This is going to be
How many is this?
So far it's 3. I'm doing at least one more. I just talked to someone yesterday and I'm like, hey, you want to go see Star Wars? Yes, I do. So yeah, this is going to be, I don't know, I might even do 5. I might even do like a full, I might even go on record and do like a full 5 in the theaters.
You're out of control.
I know. I didn't buy like the DCEU pass or watch like Batman v Superman 400 times. I didn't do that, but if they offered it for
Who the hell
Rise of...
had that? I'm trying to remember who we were friends with that had like all their tickets to see Batman vs Superman like framed and like some fancy thing hanging on their wall, and they had like 20 tickets.
Was it Ico? Was it Ico that did?
No.
I was thinking it was Lewis.
I don't remember who the fuck it was. I can't remember. Somebody we know had that, and I remember making fun of them about it.
Of course you did.
I can't remember who it was, but I specifically remember the frame, and I remember making fun of them.
I feel like it's Angry Geeks.
Dude, I think you just gave me another goal for 2020. I'm going to do like 10 ticket stubs and like Chewie's Meadow and frame it.
Awesome. All right, Aubrey, what's going on with you?
Nothing. I'm just living the dream. Right now, classes start next week again. It's my last semester, so just been trying to finish every book that I've started in the past 3 years. So far, I've made it through 4 of them. So,
And you have to go see Cats.
yeah, I do.
What have you read so far, Aubrey?
I finished Girl Interrupted. She's Still There. 10 Things Your Child with Autism Want You to Know, and Thinking in Pictures by Temple Grandin.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, you're naming like those books and all I can see are like the covers of the video boxes. Like I've seen that movie. I know that movie.
Yeah, I was excited to get through a lot of them because I still have more books that I want to start. I have a whole pile of stuff that I want to start. So trying to get through all the things I've already started so I could get to the other ones.
I hear you. I also have a lot of books that I haven't read yet. None of them are novels. They're all comic books. I'm sorry.
I have a pile of that too.
Yeah, there you go.
I got a bunch of Star Wars comics for Christmas. So.
Oh, nice. Like the Marvel Star Wars books.
They're like I got the Lando one.
Yeah.
And those ones.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And Joey, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just trying to get through the last of this holiday work schedule. I'm almost done as we record this. The only time I get off during the holiday weeks is the holidays. So when the holidays fall on the middle of the week, it means I'm stuck working long stretches. So after New Year's, which I had a lot of fun on New Year's. We'll talk about that in a second. New Year's, we didn't have to work. And then I have to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday until my schedule resets. So I'm just trying to power through.
Gotcha.
Just try to power through. It's just an unfortunate quirk of our scheduling that all of a sudden we get stuck working 6 and 7 day stretches, which when you're doing physical labor third shift, it kind of breaks you after a while.
Mm-hmm.
But what'd you guys do for New Year's, Aubrey?
I went to sleep.
What time did you go to sleep?
11:20.
What? Come on. You couldn't make it those extra 40 minutes?
I know. It was Josh was saying to me, he's like, "Come on, we only have 40 minutes." Like, and normally he's passed out. The past couple of years, he's been the first one to go to sleep. And I was like, honestly, I don't care. I want to go to sleep. So it was my fault this time.
That's okay. There's always next year.
Yeah. Maybe one year we'll stay awake.
Hell, just stay up to midnight Friday. Screw it.
Now, what about you, Mark? What did you do for New Year's?
Oh, I did what I love to do, which is listen to K-pop and edit a podcast. Because there is no fucking way I was going to go into 2020 with a podcast on my back that needed to be finished. So I'm like, I don't care how fucking long it takes. Set a goal for myself. I'm going to get this shit done by midnight. And I got it done by 11:30, about 11:35, 11:40 was the last rendering. And as soon as that second render went through, I fucking popped open a beer, started celebrating. And it felt really good. It felt amazing to wake up on January 1st, 2020 and not have to edit anything. That was like a dream. So yeah, that's what I did.
Great.
And what about you, Joey?
My wife and I, my daughter went and slept over a friend's house, and then my in-laws took my son, so we had the house to ourselves. We got some takeout, and we watched about 3 episodes of The Witcher, and then Jen was like, "I hate this. I don't want to watch it anymore."
Yikes.
This is the second time I've been like, we've got this great thing that's going to replace Game of Thrones. And it hasn't worked out for her. At least she liked it better than the Shannara Chronicles.
Oh.
And then we were laying on the couch and we were watching TV, and I was like, man, I'm hurting. I'm really tired. And she's like, go to bed. And I'm like, but it's New Year's. We're like hanging out. She's like, it's fine. Go to bed. So I went to bed at 7:00.
Holy shit. At least Aubrey got to where the clock was a little bit closer to midnight.
I know.
Yeah.
Look at that. When does that happen?
Yeah, I went to bed at 7:00 and I was out like the dead. And then I, of course, because I eat lunch at, somewhere around 4 to 4:30 a.m.
Yeah.
I woke up around that time and I was like, oh, it's lunchtime. And then I couldn't get back to bed. So that was my New Year's. I slept. Jen watched like most of You season 2 while I was asleep. And that was it.
Nice.
I think it's the first time in 25 years of being together that I have stayed up. I have gone to bed earlier than Jen on New Year's.
There you go.
But,
new year, new decade.
That's right. But enough about us. Let's talk about us. Mark Hellis, why don't you tell the listeners where they can find more So Wizard podcast?
All right. So everybody can go to SoWizardPodcast.com where you will find new episodes every week. Movie reviews every once in a while from yours truly, Netflix and Amazon streaming picks from our buddy the awesome Adam Wallyhawk. You'll also find our merchandise there, so you can purchase some of our So Wizard t-shirts and sweatshirts and look good while you're representing our show. A great way to support our show is by doing your Amazon shopping through the link that we keep right on the website. Click on the Amazon logo, that big yellow A, do your shopping, receive your products, and that way you'll be helping out our tiny little podcast. You can also find our social media links there. We have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review while you're there. You can also find us on the Stitcher Radio app for your tablet or smartphone, Podbean, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify. We also have a Patreon page if you want to support us monetarily. Patreon.com/SoulWizardPodcast and receive bonus content from the group here. We also have a YouTube page that Adam puts up videos every once in a while. Lots of great content on there. And shout out to all of the podcasts in a Geek World's All-Stars Podcast and Network. Back to you, Joey.
What did you say? Are you kidding me? What? Ha!
All right, 2 big shout outs before we jump into the news. First off, shout out to our new Patreon, Ken, the Ocho Duro Parlay podcast. Newest Patreon in the TKO crew level, getting those exclusive episodes every month. And I also want to send a huge shout out to Adam Wallyhawk. Our video of him playing the Walking Dead virtual reality game at New York Comic Con broke 1,000 views today.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Some of the other videos from New York have gotten some big numbers too, but this is like our most popular video on our YouTube channel, and it's literally a video of Adam waving his arms around. I cannot get over why this is so popular, but whatever. It's fine.
Have you seen Adam's arms? Those guns.
Yeah,
dude. That's why.
True. That's true.
That's what's happening.
The veins. But I just want to send those 2 shout outs. Awesome. Let's do it, Mark. Let's jump into the news.
Yo, pump it up. It's time for the news. Yo, we getting ready to bring you the news, boy.
All right, Mark, what's going on? It's been a while since we've talked news.
Yeah, ironically, you would think there would be a lot of stuff going on in a big gap of time since we talked news, but no, not that much going on. So let's start with some small things first. After the arousing success of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, it looks like we got an idea of where the next set of Star Wars movies are going to take place. It's supposedly, now this is a rumor, you got to take this with a grain of salt. The next Star Wars movie is going to take place 400 years before the Skywalker saga in a time called the High Republic. So I would imagine, not being like well versed in the EU, I would imagine this means there's going to be a lot of Jedis running around, some Sith running around. And I believe what the plan is, rumor is that the plan is to do different stories all set in the same time frame. So you will get maybe a group of Jedis in doing one story, and then another Jedi in another story, and then a Sith in another story. Kind of like the MCU. Different stories that all come together in one movie, like the Avengers. You know, it's working so well for the MCU. I don't know how well it'll work for Star Wars, but if they're going to give me more movies with lightsabers and Jedis and Sith, I am all for it. I think this is a great idea, if this is true. What do you guys think of new Star Wars movies set 400 years before Baby Yoda, Aubrey?
I dig it. I'll watch it. I'll probably watch it more than any other show that I've been watching. So I don't know if that says enough, but I mean, I'll watch it.
Now, keep in mind, this is going to be on a big screen. This is going to be big budget movies, supposedly.
Yeah, I'll go.
It's going to be an interesting web if they actually weave this all together. Joey, you're the big Star Wars EU fan, dude. How do you feel about this?
That's fine. I'm a little Star Wars out right now, but yeah, I don't usually like prequels, but
yeah,
you know, if you said it far enough in the past, like the only thing that matters is that like the galaxy doesn't stop existing.
Right.
So millions of different crazy things can happen, and just they have to try to not fall in the trap of having everyone be related.
Right.
So as long as we're not seeing like Han Solo's like great grandfather, so that we know that there's no stakes to that person, then we're fine. Like it'll be fine. Some of the comics from that era were pretty okay to decent. There was never anything huge standout. It's a cool like setting. It's just they didn't do much with it in the comics. Obviously, the two Knights of the Old Republic video games are perfect. So if that's, did you ever play those, Aubrey?
I did.
Did you like them?
Yeah.
That wasn't very enthusiastic, but at least there wasn't a patented Aubrey long pause before you answered. So yeah, if we're looking at stuff like that, it's cool. It's just something like kind of like how The Mandalorian is, you know, just open up the door to like a whole bunch of storytelling that has no shackles on it. We're not forced into a box of, you know, this has to be related to Luke. This has to be related to the Skywalker family, the Emperor, like all that stuff. Like just go nuts. It's like it's such a cool setting, and there's so much cool stuff you can do. Like, it doesn't have to be tied to that stuff. So that's what's exciting to me. And then I just want them to sit down and plan it out. If there's going to be an overarching story, just sit down and plan it out. I don't want like Snoke to show up in this 9th movie with like no explanation. You know?
All right. I'm going to take that personal, Joey. That's fine. It's fine.
They have Snoke in a pickle jar in the background of one of the scenes.
I kind of agree with you. It'd be nice if they planned it out, but I do think that them going this route will give them a much better excuse to not plan it out. You know what I mean? Like they can let each director, you know how like Marvel movies have like one's the like the spy adventure and one's the wacky comedy superhero adventure. You know, they can do different genres set in the Star Wars universe. And, you know, as long as they're kind of heading to the same direction, I think it'd be a lot more freeing for the directors to come in and put their own stamp on it. Like Taika Waititi doing The Mandalorian. That's probably one of the funniest episodes out of all of them. And it's because, you know, he put his little Taika Waititi touch on it. So yeah, I think this could be a good idea if this works. It'd be really interesting to see what type of genres the Star Wars universe can get into. Obviously, The Mandalorian is a TV show and it's more of a Western, but you know, we can get into some serious dramatic stuff or some even slightly goofier comedy stuff. So
it's a cool idea too, because you can pull just random directors that do a one-off.
Right.
You know, so you could maybe grab Taika Waititi to make a whole movie if you wanted to, if he felt like it.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? The Mandalorian has its fair share of good directors, so maybe they can use that as a testing ground. It's like, oh, okay, you did that hour show. Why don't you jump up here and do this 2-hour movie?
So no Bryce Dallas Howard then?
I want Bryce Dallas Howard. I want Bryce Dallas Howard to. I
like him thick.
I wanted to direct the movie with Ahsoka Tano just running around in heels. That's all I want. Okay. But yeah, we'll see what comes of that. I'm excited for more Star Wars movies. Okay. Oh, and really quick, speaking of Star Wars, The Clone Wars Season 7, the date was released that it's supposed to be coming out February 17th. That was, I guess it was leaked and has been pulled back. I don't know how official that is, but it seems pretty official. So right now, I'm also in the process of trying to watch all of the Clone Wars before the new Season 7 starts.
It's funny you mentioned that because I am also in the process. I think this will be the 5th or 6th time I've tried to watch Clone Wars. I'm on episode 4 right now.
Nice. And the beauty of it is someone was actually smart enough to release the chronological order that the stories take place. And I think that's helpful. Or, you know, it's a little bit jarring, but it gives you an idea to see like exactly what planet they start off with and the adventure that comes after it. So that's how I'm watching it. I'm watching it completely out of order, but in chronological
talking
order.
About a TV show jumping around in the timelines without really explaining what's happening?
Yeah.
Well, I might come back to file that away. We might come back to that later.
Let's say, who would do that? Who would do something like that? All right. So speaking of the MCU and movies, it looks like we might have a new cast member joining Thor 4. Christian Bale, Bruce Wayne, Batman himself, might be joining the MCU as a undisclosed character. Some people want it to be Beta Ray Bill. I have no problem with that at all. Christian Bale just delivered an amazing performance in Ford versus Ferrari, so he is just he's the man right now. He's always been the man, but he's definitely the man right now. So yeah, put him and Taika Waititi together. I'm there for it. What do you think of Christian Bale joining Thor, Joey?
Well, I mean, he's a good actor, but I don't want him voicing Beta Ray Bill. He'll be like, swear to me.
I would be okay with that. I don't know how Beta Ray Bill sounds, but I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, in my head, reading comics, he doesn't sound like that. So that's my I think. Please no. He might be the villain is rumored to be the High Evolutionary, so there's rumors he might be the villain.
Jesus, that's a deep cut. What the hell is that?
Oh, he's Avengers villain, genetic manipulation, had a lot to do with Scarlet Witch and Magneto and stuff that won't be in the movie. But yeah, no, it'd be a cool character to have him play, as long as they just don't kill him off at the end. But.
Is he going to have to gain weight? That's the important. Is he going to have to gain / lose weight?
He's not going to be putting on purple and white armor if he gains a lot of weight.
All right.
Maybe he's going to play Jane. He's like, oh, it's going to be a girl Thor. I can play that.
I would be down for that. I'd be down for that.
Where is it?
Aubrey, how do you feel about Christian Bale joining the cast of Thor 4?
I don't know.
What? You're not a Christian Bale fan?
I am in Batman. I like him in Batman. But I don't know. Feels wrong.
Aubrey. I'm not the one wearing hockey pads.
It just doesn't feel right. It feels so, I don't know. Feels like he's cheating.
He's cheating on DC.
Yeah.
He paid his dues, Aubrey. He paid his dues. He gets to hang out with Anne Hathaway in France right now. He's good.
Yeah.
That's a great reward, I get to.
Shut up, dude. Yeah, I love Anne Hathaway.
Here you go, hang out with the worst Catwoman in the worst country.
Yeah. All right. I can't argue that point.
Eartha Kitt's not walking through that door, Mark.
I just imagine Christian Bale like having Taika Waititi by the collars, like, you wouldn't give this role to an ordinary citizen, would you?
Where are they?
So yeah, I'll be excited if he plays the bad guy, even better. American Psycho, hell yeah, bring it on. Okay, and then speaking of Marvel, we got our look at the latest trailer for New Mutants, the movie that everyone has been anticipating since April of 2018. We're finally getting it on a big screen, April 3rd, 2020, 2 years after the original date. The trailer kind of streamlines what the story is. We get an idea of a little bit more of the mind play that's at work. And we get a look at some of the special effects that they're going to be using. It doesn't look like as low budget as I originally thought it was going to be. But yeah, New Mutants trailer coming out in April. And now that Disney owns Fox, it's technically a Disney movie. Aubrey, what did you think of the New Mutants?
It was pretty gory. I mean, not gory, but it didn't have that Disney feel to it. It was kind of dark.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I'm interested. They caught my attention. They have the what's his face from Stranger Things and Maisie.
Yep.
So they have some pretty good actors that are lined up for it. So I'm excited to see what they bring to the table.
Yeah, and it definitely has that darker edge, like the first X-Men, Bryan Singer's X-Men, where their powers are kind of scary. You know, not super heroic.
Yeah, it seems like they're going with that type of aspect, like how that dude burned his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going with a gritty kind of look to or feel to it, where they don't know how to control themselves and they don't really know much about mutants and stuff. So I'm really interested to see how it goes.
Cool. Joey, what about you, man? Well, how do you feel about this new footage that they released for us?
Bruh. Look at this dude. Wait till you see the... No.
I'm so glad I let you tee that up for the show.
Yeah, it still looks like doo-doo feces, but I will say... Magic from New Mutants is my number one Marvel Comics waifu.
Okay.
And Anya Taylor-Joy is rather easy on the eyes. And she looks right in the clip. So that part was really cool.
I like how everyone is like have like these horror stories about when they first got their powers. And she's like, no, I killed 18 men one by one. It's like, damn, girl.
Yeah, she's got the bangs. She's got the metal arms. She's got the sword. So that's pretty awesome.
What'd you think of the special effects?
That's fine. It's fine. It reminds me of a Fox X-Men movie. Like it looks like a Fox X-Men movie. So, I mean, this isn't going to tie into the MCU, obviously, as we could tell, because the opening credits of the thing were, 20th Century Fox and the non-MCU Marvel logo.
Right.
So, it's been sitting in a drawer for 2 years.
Yep.
They were supposed to do reshoots to make it scarier, but then they never did the reshoots. So I don't know what the hell the state of this is, but they're going to plop it out there. And obviously we're going to do it for the show because we kind of have to at this point. I've been talking about it for so long, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'd love to be pleasantly surprised. Even a 2.5 out of 5 movie, from this would be a pleasant surprise. This feels like it should be a type of movie that's just a fucking bomb, like a neutron bomb, but not in like a funny way. Like this isn't going to be like The Room or something. This is going to be like just a slog to sit through because it's going to be a mess. But hopefully it's not. So, I mean, we'll see. I'd be cautiously optimistic to see what they've got, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm nervous about this. This could not be very bad, or it could just be boring. But it definitely won't be good no matter what. Maybe if they'd done those reshoots, but I don't even know how you would reconcile that with the fact that everybody's 2 years older, especially with younger actors. So.
Just de-age them. Just pull the kid from Stranger Things in It Chapter 2. Just
they'll just be blurry all the time.
Exactly.
Great.
Well, now that the movie does fall under the Disney umbrella, Kevin Feige did take a look at it. And I believe with the idea that they were going to do some more reshoots. But he said, no, the movie's fine. We're just going to release it just like this. So that's either, if Kevin Feige gives it, well, I don't know if he gives it a thumbs up, but if he says it's okay to release like that, that means it's either good or it's so fucking horrible. People are going to be like, oh, thank God that's in the trash. Now Kevin Feige can really do what he wants to do. He can point to New Mutants and be like, you guys don't want to do that, right? So let me do my job.
There's some actors, and I don't know how much clout the people in this movie have, but they have written in their contract there has to be a theatrical release.
Oh, really?
Sometimes in different movies. So, you'll see stuff go out for like one day only, or select theaters nationwide, but not a huge release. Sometimes it's just to satisfy those contracts. So it could be a thing where people I could think of that might have like any kind of pull would be Maisie Williams or Anya Taylor-Joy. So maybe they had a thing in their contract that's like must have a theatrical release. Plus, if it's a scarier movie, it might be too PG-13 to put on Disney Plus. So you can't just dump it there. And I don't think they've really finished whatever they're doing with Hulu, so they can't dump it there.
Yep.
So I don't know. I guess they're just kind of in a corner and just get this thing the F out, maybe make a little tiny bit of money back.
Oh, they'll definitely make some money off of this. I guarantee it. People are just going to watch it for the curiosity factor. But yeah, Maisie Williams has had like a ton of movies that have all gone straight to Redbox. So it might be her contract where her agents were like, all right, fuck this. If she signs up for this movie, this is going to be in the theaters. I would not be surprised at all. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty much all we got for the news.
Awesome. Well, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk all about The Witcher on Netflix.
I'm Harrison.
I'm Jordan.
Well, I am Harrison.
I'm fucking Jordan.
All right.
And we're the Grief Rio podcast. Let us be your unnatural Sherpa guides on this existential plane of mountainous game and movie exploration.
And don't forget about that spookiness that lives within us all, but mainly in you spooky bitch.
How dare I'm offended.
We've been voted the best podcast to listen to by many.
By many, that means a few. That's more than one.
Results may vary. We'll see you on the next episode of Grief
Burrito. Yeah.
Yes!
And we're back. All right, guys. The Witcher, a Netflix based on the novels and the video games, starring Henry Cavill and a bunch of other people, is a fantasy series trying to be the new Game of Thrones for you. We all had a chance to watch at least some of it. Let's go with some non-spoiler impressions to start. Aubrey, what did you think of The Witcher? Oh, there's the pause.
I don't really like it.
Okay. All right. Marcellus.
Luckily, Wally Hawk was nice enough to explain that you have to wait until episode 4 before it starts to like make sense. Otherwise, I probably would have jumped ship like right around episode 2. Like, 'cause I just didn't really get into it. That being said, episode 4, I can finally start to put the pieces together. And it's okay. It's a good waste of time. Let's put it that way.
I didn't really like it all that much.
Really?
The things that I do like, I liked a lot, but the things that the problems with it are just so egregious that I just like, it's not fun to watch. It's like a slog of watching. It's like at times at its worst painful, at its best boring.
Jesus.
Or confusing. So it's just like why am I watching this? There were multiple times during those 5 hours where I was like, what am I watching? Why am I watching this?
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, ugh, I give up. That's why I haven't finished it. I only have 3 episodes left, so I'm gonna finish it because there's only 3 episodes. But like, I watched 4 episodes of Clone Wars. Could have been 2 more episodes of The Witcher, but I was like, fuck it. So yeah, I'm not really feeling it that much. But if anyone has anything non-spoiler to say, anybody?
I will say I wish there was more scenes of Henry Cavill with no shirt on. That's all. You figure if
In
you're
a bath.
It's like, come on, dude. You're gonna have Henry Cavill in the show. Show off those guns, man. Put some beefcake on there. It's for the ladies. But no, he's totally wearing his multiple Witcher outfits. Kind of feels like it's modern, but not really. Yeah, that's my only issue with it. I'm not gonna complain about the ladies' nudity because that's a plenty. So they can keep that going.
All right, Aubrey, any non-spoiler thoughts?
No.
All right, then let's get into it. Markel is going to play the sound drop. We're going to start spoiling. So if you haven't seen The Witcher yet, it's not exactly a ringing endorsement from us, but you might want to check it out as it's only 8 episodes and it's on Netflix, so you don't have to get up from your seat. But here we go.
Spoiler alert! I had seen the future and I had to prevent it.
All right, Aubrey, what did you like about The Witcher?
I like the
witches and the
I like the visual aspect of it. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Didn't you say last week you liked Renfrey?
Yeah, I mean Renfrey's kind of cool, but then she dies.
Yes,
but she
Spoiler
is kind
alert.
of cool.
Is that it for her? And the whole Mark, you watched the whole season. I don't care. Go ahead. We're in spoilers anyway, but you can
It's
spoil.
weird because I
Does she
played the
come back?
game. I played the game and I thought that she was a bigger character in the game.
Yeah, I thought she was like a main character in this shit, and she died in the first episode.
Yeah, when I heard her name, I was like, "Oh, cool, Renfrey." But then she fucking dies. I don't know. Maybe it's only because I've watched 2 episodes, but I'm pretty sure the game did not go down this way.
Mark, did she come back at all at the end?
Not necessarily. The actress has an appearance, but the character itself, I'm pretty sure she doesn't come back.
What the
That's
fuck?
some shit.
All right. Well, that's not much for Aubrey on the like side. Marcellus, how about you? You seem to be the most positive out of all of us.
Yeah, there's a fight scene between The Witcher and Renfrey that was fucking badass. Like, I could not believe how cool this chick was. Like, you don't really get to see like a guy, a man and a woman sword fight. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't really I haven't come across that too often. Maybe in Zorro.
Rey and Kylo Ren?
Yeah, but those are like lightsabers. Do those really count as like?
I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know. Yeah, and those were passable. I mean, compared to like the lightsaber fights from the prequels. Like the prequel had awesome lightsaber fights. Like, you can't deny that. The Rey and Kylo one was good, but it wasn't like epic. The fight scene between Witcher and Renfrey was fucking badass because whoever choreographed the fight scenes on the show deserves an award because they look really badass. That's the best aspect of this entire enterprise, are the fight scenes. And seeing like him and her go at it with the quick cuts and the danger, you can feel the danger between them. It was really good. I was really impressed by the choreography of the fight scenes between those two. And I like that the show does force you to work, to think about what's going on. The trick is keeping your attention through those episodes. But, every episode starts, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then the episode ends, and then the next episode will start, and I'm like, I have no idea like what the hell's going on. And then right around episode 4, I can kind of start to figure it out. And then right around episode 7, I'm like, oh, okay, now it's finally like starting to gel right in time for the big finale. So I do like that it's not like episode 1, this happens. Episode 2, this happens. It kind of forces you to pay attention to the characters and the storyline to really follow what's going on. So that I respected. Joey.
All right. So let's see. Things I liked. I will say right off the bat, just watching this made me want to play Dungeons and Dragons really bad.
I never played it.
Oh. I don't know how it would be to jump in you're older, but when I was like young, like I used to love D&D, but that's the best compliment I can give some type of thing like this, is it made me want to play D&D. So that's good. I love Henry Cavill as the Witcher. I think he's awesome in the role. Just like you said, Mark, the sword fights and the battles are awesome.
Yep.
Him versus
Renfrey.
Yeah, Renfrey. That's a great fight. Him versus those guys in the town square.
Yes.
Was awesome. Honestly, anytime the show is just focusing on him being the Witcher and going around hunting monsters, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all in when that's happening. Like anytime, like there's when I forget, I lose track of what episode number is it, but there's like the monster that was somebody's daughter that was cursed.
Yeah.
That was great. That was so cool. And he had to fight it all night long. Like that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Even just the episode where he meets the bard and they go to find it's like a goat guy.
Oh, right. Yep.
Yeah, there was a legend of horrendously bad special effects up in the hills, and they find it. Just as an aside, the special effects on that goat guy were really bad. And it's the only time in the whole 5 episodes I watched where the special effects were not very special. So I was just like, what the fuck? Like, did they hire like a couple kids from outside to like put this together? Like, it was really bad. But yeah, anytime it's the Witcher witchering, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime there's a storyline, not so much. But we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, the sword fights, the Witcher witchering, and I gotta tell you, it's January 2020, and we have our first contender for Woman Crush of the Year 2020.
No way.
The actress that plays Yennefer is Be Still My Heart. You can take over my city anytime.
I'm glad you said that. I was wondering if you had gotten that far in the show.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I was like, oh my. Very nice. So yeah, she's very attractive. Her story is interesting, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
So that's for me. Like it's weird because people were complaining, not you guys, but I've seen people complain online. Like The Mandalorian had standalone episodes where it was just him with the bounty hunters or him going to a little farming town or whatever. And they're like, oh, it's stupid. It doesn't advance the story. I would kill a season of just that on The Witcher, of just him and the bard going around slaying monsters. That was the best parts of the show for me. So I guess it's time to get into what we didn't like. Aubrey, sounds like you had a lot you didn't like about this show.
This is really hard to follow. Like I said, I played the game and I have yet to, maybe it's because I'm on episode 2, but why would anybody want to keep watching this show when it's so hard to follow? You're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. People aren't going to want to watch it when they have to get to episode 4 to even figure out what's going on. So that's really frustrating. I just wish that they had a hook in the episodes that I've watched, because right now I don't feel like getting to episode 4. I will, to see what the big fuss is about, but I don't feel like it. It shouldn't be that way.
Spoiler alert, Aubrey, you're not going to get to know what the big fuss is about until episode 7.
Then what the fuck is the point?
Episode 4, you'll be able to be like, oh, okay, I can kind of see what they're trying to do here. Episode 7 is when it's like, oh, now I get it.
It was stupid. Trash.
Anything else you didn't like?
I don't know. I don't really like Henry Cavill either.
But I mean, you don't have to like him in real life, but don't you think he was a good fit for the role?
I don't know. His voice is kind of really annoying for me. I feel like he's trying too hard. And when he does that weird snarly look too, I just want to punch him in the face.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hello, no.
It's really how I feel about it. It's just, I don't know. I don't like it.
What happened in the last episode you watched?
That was when Yennefer went to the portal dude. I can't remember his name. They kissed, and then he was like, "Oh, she's part elf."
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
You're just keeping track of where you've been. All right, Marcellus, how about you? Things you didn't like about the show?
Unlike most TV shows that are supposed to be an hour, some episodes would be like 42 minutes, 45, 48 minutes. These episodes were an hour and change, and they felt it. But
yes, they did.
I would take a nap in between and wake up and be like, holy shit, it's still the same episode? Jesus Christ. Luckily, by the time you get to the end of the show, it actually does start to, they actually do start to get it under an hour, which I was so grateful for. You look at the timestamp and you're like, okay, good. I might actually be able to make it through this episode. So yeah, I mean, that's a weird thing to complain about. Most shows would people would love an hour of The Mandalorian. I'm sure that would be no problem at all. But this one, it's more than an hour, and there's some episodes that it felt like it was more than an hour. And yeah, there's a lot of breadcrumbs that they sprinkle all about and hope that once you start to piece everything together, kind of unravel a mystery, that it's going to be satisfying. And, not to spoil what happens at the end, it does have a good...
Well, we're in spoilers, so who cares?
I'm going to spoil it for you guys.
I don't give a shit. Go ahead.
Episode 7, I finally started to really get how they are laying out the story. It's definitely more like a Quentin Tarantino movie, or like Dunkirk, where there's different storylines, but you're not sure how they're all connected. And by the time you get to number 7, you can see where they're starting to connect. And then once they start to connect, it's like, all right, great. So now we're going to get something cool. And there's big chunks of the show where there's no Witcher at all. And I'm like, where the fuck is Henry Cavill? What's happening here? So that I really didn't like. But I will say that there's no doubt that there's going to be a season 2. In fact, they're probably already finished filming it the way that this looks. So as much as I am iffy about it, I'm definitely going to watch season 2 because it does kind of feel like what I wanted for Game of Thrones that I didn't get.
Well, I got to tell you, I agree with you, Mark, because there are stretches of this that are excruciatingly boring.
Yep.
And confusing. I never, ever, ever want to watch anything about crippled girls going to Hogwarts ever again. I can't. I couldn't take it. That felt like I was watching that episode for 4 days.
But it was a good payoff though, right? Once she got the
at the payoff when she's finally hot and stuff. She had a good rack even when she was crippled, but no, it was a good payoff, I guess. But I just there had to have been some other way to do that, or cut the episode so that we're not just sitting there being like, when are they going to get to the fireworks factory? Where is The Witcher? Why am I watching this? Like Aubrey said, there's no oomph to why you're watching it.
Yeah.
In Game of Thrones, they'd introduce a character. Maybe we'll spend a whole episode with Daenerys, or a whole episode with Jorah, or a whole episode with I don't know, anybody. But you've already kind of met the character and kind of understand why we're seeing what their backstory or what happened. There was nothing. It was just here's your Witcher show. And then the next episode, let's spend an hour and 15 minutes with this crippled girl learning magic. What? I thought this was about Henry Cavill killing monsters. What am I watching?
Yep. I felt the exact same way. Everyone gets their own storyline, and you get to kind of plot through their storyline. And, spoiler alert, no one's storyline is as exciting as Henry Cavill fighting big monsters.
That's exactly. Maybe if you intersperse this differently, or put this episode later on, I don't know how you could because of the storyline, but put it later on or something. Just it was the first episode ends with that cool sword fight, and you're like, all right, cool. This isn't so bad. And then it's running face first into a brick wall. Oh, Jesus. I kept being like, what the fuck? Where's The Witcher? It was bad. Oh, it was so bad. I got to tell you, if it wasn't for this podcast, I probably wouldn't have made it past that episode. So God bless you, Aubrey, for making it that far.
It was difficult.
Yeah.
I actually watched, so the reason why I've only watched 2 episodes is because I've watched both episode 1 and 2 multiple times to try to figure out what the hell's going on. So technically, I've watched 4 episodes, possibly 5.
Even though it's the same 2 episodes.
Same 2 episodes, because I was like, this is not the storyline. I don't understand.
Yep.
I feel like I'm going to be laying in a nursing home somewhere, like dying in my old age, and the light's going to come above me and you say, come on up to heaven. And I'm going to say, man, if only I had not wasted all that time watching Humpback Hogwarts and have extra time here on Earth. But
it's so irritating because the story from the book is like Yennefer is Geralt's soulmate, and then they adopt the Cirilla. But then the game is even kind of weird. It doesn't. Nothing in this show lines up with either the game nor the book.
And that's fine, but it should at least be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it isn't.
Yeah,
that's the problem. So yeah, and then we go back to The Witcher doing stuff with the Bard, and that's fun. I don't like the Bard that much. Sometimes he gets on my nerves. Like, he almost feels like he came out of a different show.
He does. Like his very contemporary verses for the songs. It feels very, very modern.
Yeah, and like I like him pissing off Geralt, and I like them together and stuff. But just some of the comedy with him and some of just like the way he acts and talks, it doesn't seem like it fits with the show. So that's kind of annoying. But I mean, I would take that over anything else happening in the show. And then there's like some girl ran away in the woods, and she met Ferngully or something.
Right.
And I don't fucking care about anything that's happening at all, because they don't give you any reason to care about anything that's happening. I don't know. I just feel like there's a really cool story here, and it looks really cool in places. And it looks there's just glimpses of really awesome stuff, but it's shit. It's so all over the place. If I can't keep track of this, I used to read Dungeons and Dragons guides books for fun. Mm-hmm. I used to sit down and just read this is a psionics handbook, and I would just sit there and read it. If I'm having trouble following this, can you imagine a lay person sitting down? My wife she was checked out after an episode and a half. She's done. She's like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Well, I think it's good that they're trying to not test the audience, but they're trying to stimulate the audience, with the way that they're telling a story. I haven't watched Watchmen, but I do believe that the different storylines don't really match up until certain points. You have to watch a few episodes before you start to connect the two.
I gotta tell you, Mark, I watched all of Watchmen, and outside of the first episode,
yeah,
it's all laid out really. It does intertwine this, but not in a way like this does. You're never questioning why the fuck am I watching this?
Okay.
They still have a hook with everything. So even when the two separate storylines are in Watchmen are kind of what's happening with Sister Night,
right,
and the police officers, and what's happening with Ozymandias,
right.
But outside of the first episode, when they're just kind of just throwing everything at you, there's hooks with each person's storyline where you're like, oh, okay, now I see where this is going, or not that you see where it's going, but you know what I mean? It makes sense of why you're seeing it. It's never you sat down to watch The Witcher and here's an hour and 15 minutes of this girl going to magic school, or here's 45 minutes of this girl running around the woods with elves.
Mm. So Watchmen is only 2 stories running kind of simultaneously in a way,
more or less.
Yeah. So Watcher is 4, and they start at different times. One starts at one point, and then another story started years and years and years ago.
Right, but never really. That's never made clear.
Right, exactly, and that's why
that's the problem.
And that's why you have to watch it until episode 4 to be like, oh, so if I saw this guy in episode 2. And now I'm looking at him in episode 4, and he's in episode 2, he's 60 years old. In episode 4, he's 9. now I know where I am timeline wise. And that's when you really start to. So you knock 2 down, so you just got 2 more to go.
It's asking too much. It's way asking too much.
But you got to give it credit for trying. You got to give it credit for at least trying something different.
Yeah, but it doesn't work. Like, how could they have read those scripts and been like, yeah, this will be great. Yeah, this won't be confusing at all.
You know what? I think they filmed it all like chronologically and then just edited it. That's why some episodes are like an hour and 15 minutes.
What did they do? Just cut all the film strip up and throw it up in the air and catch it? Like,
yeah. It's like, do we have any Henry Cavill in that pile over there? Yes. Done. That part of the story is done. Got some girl running through the woods over there? Yep, that part's done.
Do you have a bug attacking this lady and a baby? Sure. Throw it in there, you know?
So it'd be interesting to see what they do for season 2 if they go back to. I would imagine they would. Not that the stories are when you get to the end of season 1 and the stories are all kind of like lined up correctly. I would imagine season 2 moving forward, they'll just start doing it the way that everyone is used to. Episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and straightforward. I would imagine. I could be wrong.
Well, I would hope so, because this was just asking a lot as somebody sitting there watching it, like trying to figure. I mean, once the queen that died in the first episode shows up, like in the third episode or whatever, and she's, looks younger, but it's clear it's taking place in the past. Like now it's like, okay, it's slowly starting to sink in, but I just have to follow like 7 different characters and what timeline is what, and like, what the fuck? It's almost like watching the movie Primer. Do you remember that movie, Mark?
No. I know. I'm sure I've seen it.
A time machine in a storage locker.
I'm sure I've seen it, but I don't really remember it.
Yeah, you need like graphs and stuff from the internet to follow the movie. I shouldn't need that for the fucking Witcher. It's like fucking Henry Cavill in a gray wig fighting monsters. That's all I wanted. And I only got it intermittently.
That's right. Release the Witcher cut. Just all
That's
Henry
right.
Cavill scenes. Get rid of everything else.
That's right. All right. But yeah, I just, shout out to Yennefer. So that's all I got. All right, Aubrey, are you going to keep watching this? You said you will, but will you really power through this season?
I'll try.
Mm-hmm.
There's no promises, but I will try.
I will say, Aubrey, because you are familiar with the books and the video games, you know a lot more than anyone else who's just watching the show does. Like
And it still makes me mad. And I still don't understand what's going on. That's the horrible part.
Now, Mark, you finished the season. Are you going to watch season 2?
Yes, because season 1 ends on a kind of, not a cliffhanger, but I immediately want to know what happens.
Somebody had a script, and they're like, oh, I think I can explain this to you, and then it ends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely want to see. If I don't watch season 2, I'm definitely going to watch the first episode. Unless it starts playing and it's a completely different set of characters doing something I have no idea. Like, if it's just like the bard, like, on a river somewhere, and then I'm turning that shit right off. Fuck that.
There's a like guy with no arms and no legs going to like wizard school. I'm shutting it off immediately. I'm going to finish season 1 just because I'm so far in at this point. Like, and it's only 8 episodes. If this was like 22 episodes, 13, 14, 15, I wouldn't finish it at all. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't. But I'll finish it because I'm so close to the end. As for season 2, depends on how I feel at the end of season 1. I got a couple episodes left. If, like Mark says, it really starts to come together and like leaves you wanting more, cool. I'll at least watch maybe the first episode and see if it, pulls me in again. But let's get a score. Aubrey, for what you've seen out of 5, The Witcher?
I'm going to give it a 2. No, a 1.5.
All right. Mark Ellis?
I'm going to give it a 2.5 because I did make it all the way to the end. And Yennefer, she boosts that score right up.
Yeah, I was just going to say I was kind of leaning towards a 1.5, but I'll give it a 2. 2 hot crippled chicks racks out of 5. I got what I wanted out of it. I follow her on Instagram now. So.
Oh, where does she have the humpback? She still have the humpback on there?
Yeah, and the messed up chin. It's great.
Nice.
Hashtag that's my fetish.
I will say, Joey, you watch it to the finale just for her, just to get more scenes of her. But I can guarantee you right now, once you get to the end, you're not going to want to watch season 2. You're gonna turn your table upside down and be like, "Fuck this shit," and be done with it.
Oh no! Did she get crippled again?
It was all a dream. Pam Ewing like opens up the shower and it's just her.
She was just staring at a snow globe the whole time.
He's looking at a reflection in the mirror the whole time.
Yeah, it's a deep cut for you St. Elsewhere fans out there. Aubrey doesn't even know what that is.
Nope.
All right, so there it is, our review of The Witcher on Netflix. Looks like some thumbs in the middle there. So, you know what? Like I said before, it's on Netflix. It's not that much effort. Check out an episode or two, see what you think. Let us know. Let's get some recommendations for you guys, and let's wrap it up. Aubrey, what do you got?
I just actually bought a new book, which is one of the ones I'm going to start when I'm done with my stack of books. It is a book based on Venom Lethal Protector. So I'm really excited to dive in and actually read it. It's an actual book rather than a comic. So I'm excited.
Awesome. What's the name of it?
Venom.
Who's it by?
It is by James Tuck.
And you got that on Amazon, or?
I got it actually at Barnes & Noble, but I'm sure you can find it at Amazon on Amazon.
Cool. All right. You have to let us know how it is. Mark Ellis, how about you?
Yeah, I would say go see Rise of Skywalker again because it's an independent movie and it has to make its $1 billion this year. I am like in Super Star Wars mode right now. So like I said before, I am watching the Clone Wars in chronological order, not in episode order. And yes, that does include the amazing movie that was in theaters. God. But yeah, I got to get through that. And then once I get through that, then I'm going to be watching Clone Wars. So I would say go see Star Wars and watch Clone Wars. Get ready for season 7, debuting hopefully February 7th.
And then you got to watch Rebels after that.
Yeah, I heard Rebels was good. Montego from Fans on Patrol was saying how good it was. So now I might have to dive into that too. The only one I watched from that one is the one where Vader comes back. That's the only episode I've seen.
I liked what I saw at Rebels, so
cool.
But I didn't see much. Cool. Well, I will suggest that everyone goes to SoWizardPodcast.com where they can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media accounts on the right-hand side of the page. Movie reviews, streaming picks, so much more. SoWizardPodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Now available on Pandora. You're in Pandora now.
Yes.
And just about any podcatcher under the sun you look for us will be there. Check out our Patreon. You can get exclusive extra episodes of the podcast when you monetarily support us on Patreon at patreon.com/SoWizardPodcast. Movie reviews and things that we don't have on the regular show. You can hear our reviews of Jojo Rabbit. We just did a special Christmas I Hate You Now watch for the holidays. And this month will be our review of Cats. Meow. Exclusively on Patreon. Check out our YouTube channel, YouTube, and search So Wizard Podcast. Adam dropping videos weekly, exclusive and free content. We just dropped a new Star Wars talk one from him. You can also watch the most popular video of him playing Walking Dead Virtual Reality, waving his arms around, and jump on board the hype train for that. I don't really have any recommendations. Haven't really been doing anything. But I will suggest that, you know what? Go to your local library or used bookstore even, or thrift store, and dig around and find yourself some old Star Wars EU novels. I have been kind of going downstairs and going through my bookshelf and pulling some old ones out and making a stack. Not for the microphone, but for the reading. I'm going to reread Death Troopers to start. And then maybe we'll read some other stuff, too. I've got some really bad old EU Star Wars novels to dive into, so I'm excited about it. But that's going to do it for episode 283 of the So Wizard Podcast. Next week, we will be reviewing the movie Underwater with a special guest because Aubrey won't go see it. But that's going to do it for this week. I've been your host, Joey DiCarlo. On behalf of my co-host, the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield.
Bread free.
And the expert, Mr. Marquis Marcellus Reagans.
You know, whenever I think of Underwater, I just keep singing Under Pressure in my head. And I know that's not the same thing, but I will be doing it all next week. Everybody have a great week. Wakanda forever.
We'll see you guys next week. Good journey.